Hey guys, welcome back to my channel. So as some of you may know, I did like a poll on Instagram like a few days ago, just kind of trying to see like what you guys want to see more versus like what you don't want to see, just so I was like more aware of like other people's interests and not just like what I think I should be putting out. And the two most common things that people voted for was a Q&A with me and Aunt was like second, and so we'll probably do that like either at the end of this week, depending on how Christmas goes for us, how relaxed it is, all that, or we will do it next week before he leaves for Missouri to go see his dad. The first option that people voted for the most was just kind of like a story time of like how we found out, like how me and Aunt like got together, whatever, like just kind of like the story of that and like kind of telling other people, and then with the Q&A being either the end of this week or next week, then we will like clear up any questions you have after this video. But I'll probably do that on my Instagram as well, just because that's the easiest way for me to keep track of all the comments, everything like that. But if you have any questions after this video, then just comment them down below if you don't want to do it on my Instagram. And if you missed the poll, feel free to just DM me, because I could use all the questions that I can get and we'll answer them all. Alright, so let's get into it. So, I would say, like, probably in July. I think that's when I moved to Florida. If some of you knew, I moved down there just to go to school. I moved down to Tampa. I went to school for only a semester. I ended up dropping out after that. But, as they say, college is not for everybody. And for me, college was not. Getting to me and Anthony meeting, I had moved down to Florida, and my first night staying at my apartment, I lived with 3 other girls as well, and we decided to just go out, see if we could meet some new people at our apartment complex. It's a little gated community, nothing like super big, but it's just all kids that went to like the community college that we all went to. So we met Anthony's roommate, which I didn't know was Anthony's roommate at the time, but we met him just because like my friends wanted to talk to him. And then he invited us to go to their house, which was pretty common, like where we live, because everybody lives in like the same apartment complex. And he invited us up. We walked in the door, and first thing that my eyes went to was Anthony. So, I mean, that was like me personally. And Anthony said the same thing, but you never know. But now he introduced himself to me first. And then after we met, we all kind of hung out there like super late. Just kind of got to know them a little bit better, and they ended up becoming like good friends of ours. We're friends with them for like a good like week. Like we were over there almost every single day, but then we decided like to just kind of like branch out, like meet other people. Like nothing wrong with them, we just wanted to meet some new people. So we went to the pool like pretty much every day. We met some new people, and then after that, so like me and Anthony kind of stopped talking for like a little bit. Like we just would Snapchat here and there, but nothing like too serious. Me and my roommate got COVID, so then after we got COVID, it's kind of when we started hanging out with like them again more. Like Anthony was close with both my roommates, Lily and Maddie, and they both, I mean, we just got along with Anthony probably the best. We really liked the other boys too, but like Anthony was just super kind, so I think that attracted me to him more. And then we like, that's kind of like when me and Anthony like really started hanging out like every single day. And he was honestly like a big brother to both my roommates, and then he was like really close with me. And I kind of just told him like everything about my life, and he did the same, and we just would stay up, talk all the time. And I just like really valued our friendship. Then you fast forward a little bit, like a month or two, then I kind of started to realize that I liked him, but I didn't really know, and I didn't know how he felt about me. But everybody kept telling me that he liked me, and that I was just being oblivious to it. But, you know, that's how people are. And then finally, like, my roommate, Maddie, which is, like, also my best friend, she just kind of told me, she's like, I think that you like him, like, I think that you should tell him, like, I think that it could really go somewhere if you wanted it to. And I just, like, kept putting it off because I was too scared. And then finally, I told him that I liked him. It was just kind of out of nowhere. I just, like, told him, I was like, I just really need to tell you something. And I'm sure that he probably thought it was just going to be another, like, boy issue, but it wasn't. I told him that I liked him. So then he told me that he liked me, but that he would have never told me that first. That's like kind of funny to me now, that like looking back on it, that I was so scared, but everybody else knew and I just didn't. Then we kind of had some like rough patches. We like, I think once we was just trying to learn like how to balance like that friendship versus like liking each other was really hard for us. And then we kind of like started dating, just kind of like out of nowhere a little bit, just like, I think because we were together all the time, it just seemed like the right thing to do. And then we dated for like a few months, and we just kind of fell apart. Just like, it was kind of hard with like my friends and his friends, and just, you know, issues that everybody had. And then kind of in the middle of this year, because that was all kind of like last year, from like July to December, and then in the middle of this year, I really started to realize that like I missed him, and like I missed him being like more than my friend, and like I just wanted him back to like being mine and like being my boyfriend. And like I think that, so we really like tried to work towards that, but it just seemed like we always came back to fighting. And it was really hard because it put my best friend in a really bad position, because that was her best friend and he was like her bigger brother basically, and then it was like he was like my best friend, so it just put her in an awkward position. So we had to take into account like her feelings as well. And then after that, we like probably starting in June, my parents came down for a month to Florida, and Anthony had already met my parents before. We had came down to Colorado in December, just kind of like, or like in February maybe. So he had already met them. My parents loved him, like, and that's always a good sign. But then we like, they came down to Florida for a month, run out a condo. They do it pretty much every year. And me and Anthony were down there every single day. So then at that point, my mom started asking kind of just like what we were, like what we weren't, and his mom kind of started doing the same thing, and just like, I think they were both just like kind of trying to push us to like make that step and be mature and like talk about our issues instead of just like getting mad at each other. Halfway through July, it was our birthdays, and that's kind of like when we decided like that like we wanted to try to get back together, like really put in the effort to. But then some stuff happened like within that time too, just like good things and bad things obviously. And then about end of July, beginning of August, I got really sick. I kept getting really sick. I thought I had COVID. My mom kept telling me, take a test. I'm like, in Florida, COVID's not really a thing, so it doesn't really matter if I take a test. I don't have to stay home, really. And I started working with kids, so I was a little bit more concerned, so I took a test, didn't have COVID. And then it's progressively got worse. My best friend came down, and she was pretty sick, just, you know, for girl stuff, whatever. And then I thought that she got me sick. And I told her, I'm like, bro, like, I'm throwing up, like, I don't feel good. And she was just like after she left, and she's like, bro, that's weird, like, I'm sorry, like, if I got you sick. And then it just kept getting worse, and I was at work, and I started feeling like I was gonna pass out. I actually called into work for the first time ever, called off, and I just started not feeling good. And that's when my friend Stephanie told me, like, that she was pregnant, and she told me, and she was just telling me, like, kind of her symptoms, and I just, like, kind of started to realize, I was like, oh gosh, I have every symptom you have. And when I would work out, I would feel like I was going to pass out every single time. We'd lift every night. I get super, super sick. It was super weird. And then all of a sudden, I couldn't lift as much weight as I was pulling before or pushing before. So my roommate started to get a little concerned too, I think. And then come to like a week or two later, Anthony comes to fly down here to work, because he worked down here and there, just to get some extra money. My family, like one of my family friends, put him on like a job out here that was just like here and there, and they'd fly him out here. And he would work, and he was flying out here, and that's when I found out that I was pregnant. Because I realized it was probably more serious than what it was, and if that wasn't the issue, then I had to figure out what the issue was. And then from there, we kind of just like told friends and family selectively, and, you know, like here and there, just like kind of who was there and who wasn't there, like that kind of thing. Nothing about like who we like the most, because you don't realize in times like that you tell people that you didn't really think you would tell, and need the people. You need different people in your life, and so I would say that was a blessing it brought back, was just like, for me personally, when that happened, it brought back one of the most like important friendships in my life that I didn't have before. Like I had her as my best friend for a long time, and then when we moved like away, she moved to Arizona and I moved to Florida, and it brought back that friendship. And so it brought back a lot of things that I'm really grateful for, and it brought out a lot of support, and more support than I thought. I mean, there was definitely like some things that people didn't support, and some people who were angry and frustrated, but I just think, you know, that comes with anybody's pregnancy, whether you're prepared, whether you're trying, whether you're not. I think that comes and goes. And then that's when I like kind of made the decision after me and Anthony had talked, that the correct decision was moving back to Colorado. And he stepped up in a big way and moved his life down here, and he didn't know anyone. And that's kind of like where our life just kind of like took such a turn, and our relationship has gotten crazy good. And I mean, I think God knows what's best, and God knows what you need, and that is one thing that I guess maybe was a sign for me and Anthony to like stop messing around and stop putting off this relationship that could be so precious to both of us. And it pushed it to being so much better, and pushed us to being more mature, as a kid would for anyone. And not that that's a reason to get pregnant, it doesn't fix a lot of people's problems, but I do have to say that it brought us closer and moved me back home to people that, you know, I'm surrounded by so much love here and support. And it was hard to get that from some people, but I also have realized that, you know, if people are not going to support you and are not going to love you for things that happen in life that happens, then you have to just move along. And, you know, maybe that relationship will come back, maybe it won't. And so that's why we moved back here. We stay with my family right now, just to kind of save some money, because my parents are really a big blessing in this, and his mom is such a help too, even from far away. And my parents just gave us the blessing of living here and just like helping us in every way possible. And so we were honestly very lucky and very fortunate people. And I'm fortunate that when I came back, I had a job here. My boss here from when I worked here before was, you know, willing to give me my job back and was willing to fit me in, and I really appreciated that. And I mean, just the community support, my cousin helping Anthony get a job out here, a permanent job, and, you know, all these things. I mean, it's just, our life really did change. If you have any specifics about like who we told first, or any of those questions of certain people you want to know about us telling, you can feel free to ask. But I really do appreciate everybody's support that has been helping me, and even if it's just watching the channel and subscribing to this video or subscribing to our last video, and just, you know, sharing the word and getting it out there, because I would love for as much support as I can possibly get. I have to say, like, if you are scared about something like this, like, feel free to reach out, because I am only 19 years old, and it was a very big change for me, and my life has completely changed in positive and negative ways, and I think both, and you have to just understand that both sides of it, a good outcome is going to come out of it. So thank you so much for watching. Please like and subscribe. And then comment below if you have any questions about like whatever, or if you want to see them answered on our Q&A. And then go follow my Instagram for that as well. And I'll put the poll on probably tomorrow or the next day, just kind of to get it out there. I'll probably post it 2 times just to get as many answers as I possibly can. We really appreciate your support, and also give it a big thumbs up if you liked it. Thank you for watching.